Well, the winds have started. In today's video, we're going to talk a little bit about preparing for storms, but I'm also going to talk to you about one of the things later this year that I'm going to start to touch on, which is overall preparedness. I qualify for this simply because of my 60 years of experience, not only being through massive storms, hurricanes, being in the Marine Corps, being through all kinds of life situations where at some points I wasn't prepared and I quickly learned a lesson. And no, Doc's not a prepper. If you call me a prepper, you don't know what a prepper is. So here we go. Okay, so you can tell that there's a storm coming because this is the first morning that I have not seen a single deer on this back lane back here. Normally I'd have a herd come through, and it's already almost 9 o'clock and I have not seen a single deer. Nothing. That's highly unusual. So we're supposed to get possibly up to 4 inches of rain with this storm. 20 to 35 mile an hour wind gusts. So I need to get prepared. So as soon as I'm done here, that's what I'm going to do. We're going to get prepared for this. First of all, come here. Look who's back. Are you back now, huh? The girls are back. The girls are back from their beach travels. They came back yesterday, so it's nice to have them home. It's very good. Here's an interesting fact. The first animal to be domesticated was dogs, somewhere around, what, 30,000 BC, they think. And the next animal to be domesticated wasn't for another almost 20,000 years. Why is that? Didn't domesticate another animal until we made the transition from a hunter-gatherer until more of a farmer, agricultural. There was no reason to domesticate anything else because you're out traveling and hunting, gathering. You weren't farming, and you weren't raising animals. Just an interesting, I heard that yesterday. I said, man, that's pretty interesting. Okay, so what are some of my preps that I'm going to be doing today? If you didn't see, a few months ago, when was that? That was a while back. We had some real bad storms, and you see this tree here, this real big tree, there was one just like it right there. And thankfully, it fell down over here. Ooh, that wind's starting to pick up. We lost about 21 trees out here. We were without power for about, a day and a half. So I just have to make that assumption. So a few things I'm gonna do. Number one, my truck is parked right here. Whenever we have storms coming in, I actually move it up against the house where it's gonna be protected. So I don't have to wake up and find a tree on top of the truck. Next, I'm gonna go ahead, I've got a generator shed over here. I'm gonna go ahead and start that generator. I'm gonna make sure it's full of gas. Always start your generator once, make sure you can get it started. You'll go over there in the middle of the night, pouring rain, and realize the battery's dead or it won't start. I gotta run over to the cabin real quick, just check on it. I'm gonna get some firewood. I'm gonna get the firewood ready. I'm gonna get the stove ready. Just make sure, again, I'm going to assume that there's gonna be bad storm. I know I'm supposed to get up to 4 inches of rain. So I got to put things away that I need to get, that I don't want to get wet. I got to check my downspouts, all the little things that just sort of prepare. Look, I've been through some really bad crap in my life, and thank God I've learned over the years an ounce of prevention. An ounce of prevention really, really helps. And if you don't know about this property, I mean, this is a 40-acre farm property, and I don't have a bunker buried out back with 100 guns. What we have done, what I've tried to do over the past year and a half, once we got everything remodeled, is I said to myself, could I close my gates out here and survive for an entire year? And the answer to that is, yeah, I could. I don't have to worry about it. I've got a garden up here, 7,000 square foot garden that last year produced over 2,000 pounds of produce, more than we could possibly eat. We have wild game here. I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of deer come through here in a period of 1 week. Plenty of deer. I've got a pond out here. I've got tons of fish out here. I've got 3 water sources. I've got a shallow well. I've got actually 2 deep wells now. tons of water. So in the event, the worst case scenario where something happened, who knows, maybe there would be a disease that came by that locked us down. Could I actually just close my gates and actually live out here for a year? And the answer is yes. Now, the only thing that I have left to do out here that would really make it sort of off-grid, if you wanted to call it that, would be solar. And that solar project is going to be coming up in the next 6 months. We already prepped up wiring, underground wiring, but I'm still trying to debate which way I'm going to go with this solar project. I still have a little bit of a change coming up on that I'll update you on. So anyways, I'm just going to drag a camera around. I'm just going to prep up because I got nothing else to do, and then I got to go inside and do some work. Here we go. You want to go for a ride? Is that what you want? You want to go for a ride? You're going to get cold. Okay, come on. Come on, skinny Jack Russell. Oh, you look so skinny. No fat shaming allowed. Come up here. Come on. Come on, fat girl. Can you jump up there? Here, let me move this bag for you. So make you bust your butt. Come on, up. Come over here. Come on, up, get up. There you go. Oh, that's a good girl. I'll strap you in. Sit down. Sit. 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 It's cold, I know. Sit. We're going to go over and check the cabin real quick. Oh. Come here. Do not. Cassie. She probably sells. There's a chipmunk living under that tarp. Come on, let's go inside. Come here. Come on, let's go in the cabin. Might be a little icy though. No, that should be okay. Come here, up. Come on. Hey. You're not going in the woods. Oh, no, she did fine. Yeah, it feels good in here. Got a little heater running on low. And this place is looking really good. I gotta do touch up in here. The electrician's got to come and finish up. Then we got to strip all this floorboard off, and then we'll sand and finish. But I got to finish trimming these windows. The other day I did a video on an unfinished window versus a trim window, showing you how I do that. So if you want a simple way to trim out a window, I show you how to do this. It's the same way we did it in the other house. So there's a kitty cat way over there. There's a kitty cat way over there. Oh, the kitty cat. I'm thoroughly pleased with all of our food plots that we do, fields that we plant, and how we've managed them through the winter months. Now, we've been in the 20s multiple nights. It's been cold. But look at this. Tons of clover, cereal rye. The deer in here, they pound in here every single night. Here's the interesting thing. On my upper field up here, this is where I shot that big buck. We don't have really residential bucks here. We have transient bucks that come through here. And I will have 20 to 50 different bucks in that field every single night. It's utterly incredible. And then every couple of weeks, I'll have new bucks come in. It's absolutely amazing. Even my brother was like, dude, do you see this? I mean, it's just every night, something different. So I'm really happy with this. And then this is our garden. You know, if we had to close our gates and survive out here, we'd have no problem. I've got hundreds and hundreds of deer, thousands of deer, fish in the pond, wildlife. But this is a 7,000, close to 7,000 square foot garden that's been winterized. You can still see I left the turnips and kale standing. This produced over 2,000 pounds of produce last year. I literally, Ryan was still working for me. We took 200 pounds of yellow squash and zucchini up to the goats up the road. We had so much produce. It was absolutely crazy. Hundreds and hundreds of pounds of tomatoes. So this is enough to feed not only us, we can also, if we want to do any canning, we can can this. I'll probably end up getting a canner. We can can whatever we want, but then we can share our neighbors. Like my old lady friend across the street that has that house that her great-great-grandfather built in 1857. She's so sweet. I'll take her stuff over there. Matter of fact, I need to see if she wants any deer meat, because I am going to take another deer before season end. I've only got to January 14th, and it's the 8th. So I've only got, what, 6 days left of season, and I'm going to take another deer. Hey, babe, sit down. She's frozen. So the nice thing about this shed is I can open this up. I put blocks in front of my doors to make sure they don't blow closed. And then I close this down and I can run my generator in the rain and it's protected for the most part. I have my muffler facing out, blowing this way, and there's no eaves, there's nothing to suck in any exhaust fumes. That's important. But you can see my whole house plug runs through the back there and is plugged into my whole house plug, which goes to my panel, which I can shut off from the main electricity and kick over to this. We've done this twice before we've lost power. These generators have batteries and you have to have the battery to start it a lot of time. It will charge the battery, but the battery switch has to be on. And sometimes I forget. In the past I have forgotten to switch the battery switch off, which I haven't looked yet. And if that's the case, if you leave that battery switch on, you can drain your battery. So you might have to come out and put a charger on this. That's what I'm saying. Get out here and check this. This is why we test. There's a good example. Howling winds, pouring rain, and I'm out there struggling to get this thing started. That's not what you want to be doing. So I'm going to let that thing run probably for a good 5 or 10 minutes. I'll shut off the fuel again and let it dry out, but I want that whole thing to get going. I'll fill it up with gas. While it's running, it will be charging the battery, but if I want to put a trickle charge on it, I can. So while that's running, I'm gonna go check my firewood supply too. So the one thing I hate to do is I hate to chop kindling with an axe. Splinters get in your eye, you end up missing, goes in. So this little, it's the best investment I've made in a long time. Put it right in the center. Boom. You have to use straight wood. It does not work on curved wood, but let me tell you what, man. I love this little kindling maker. Put it in the middle. Is you always want to use straight grain wood. If you have something that curves, don't use it, but it's basically just a whack. Just like that. Cool. Okay, so 60 seconds later, I got a whole armful of kindling. And I'm gonna go turn off that generator. I'm gonna clean out the wood stove and we should be good to go. And then we're gonna check everything else around here. Sorry, I gotta turn it off. It's also the day she's gonna take down Christmas decorations. I'm like, really? Come on. But I wanted to show you guys. Remember that deer that I shot, that big buck? So that's part of it. And the other part, the overflow, is in the other freezer. But let me tell you what, my deer processor makes a maple brown sugar sausage. It is the best deer meat I've ever eaten in my life. I mean, it's so lean. Normally when you cook sausage, you got a bunch of fat running off. You got to put a little bit of butter when you cook this. That's how lean it is. But man, I'm not a big sausage fan, but this is fabulous. So here's a little simple trick that I've learned. This is a LED flashlight. It's really bright. I don't know if it's 600 or 800 lumens, but it's a really bright flashlight. It's also rechargeable, so it takes a, what is that, a USB 3 or a USB, regular USB, and you can recharge this. Here's the thing about this. You can take one of these and you can set it on the counter, or you can take it with you in the bathroom and set it on the sink and let it point up to the ceiling. And when you do that, it will illuminate the entire room. Now that seems like something that would be a no-brainer, but a lot of people don't realize that. You need to have like 6 of these things around. They're cheap. You get them on Amazon, you can buy them for like 20 bucks. You can go to Lowe's, you can pick them up. But get the rechargeable ones that you can recharge. But again, when you click this on, I mean, it is super bright. Set it on the counter and let it hit the ceiling and it will illuminate the entire room. You don't even have to have lanterns. We've got lanterns. We don't even bring them out. We just use these things now. This is one of the greatest things, but get a bunch of them and keep them charged and charge them up the night before. So I'm going to give you a little tip. In the description below, someone's going to ask me where I get the flashlights. I'll try and find a link to those flashlights to see if I can find them on Amazon. I don't know if I got them on Amazon, but I want to tell you about this kind of stuff. This is, if you don't know about it, this is that freeze-dried long-term storage food. This is like a 25-year shelf life. This is great. Like down at the beach house, I have a bunch of these in the basement. If we ever have a hurricane and get stranded down there on the island or something, I've got 3-4 weeks of food. It's all freeze dried and it's phenomenal. It's delicious, but I really recommend that you get the entrees. Don't get ones that are loaded with all the breakfast stuff. Just look for the entree ones. It's not cheap, but if you throw a couple of these in a closet somewhere, guess what? You've got food. All you got to do is add hot water, and these things are phenomenal. I mean, stuff like savory stroganoff, there's 4 of them. Chili macaroni, 4 of them. Pasta alfredo, creamy pasta vegetable, teriyaki and rice, cheesy lasagna, hearty tortilla soup. I mean, there's all kinds of meals in here. Again, 25-30 year shelf life. Why not throw a couple of them in the closet? Maybe I'll try and find a link to these, but I really like to buy the entree ones. I don't want to fill up. I don't want to be spending my money on like cereal and stuff, unless I had kids, young kids. But this is the entrees. This stuff really is great. So let me give you one other tip. For over 10 years, if I'm using a frying pan, I have not cooked inside my house. I use a camp stove, either on the back deck or back porch, or a side grill burner. So here, I'm getting ready to replace this. You can see how old it is. See this right here? This is a camp stove. I have probably 4 of these tanks. I love cooking on this. So anytime I cook, I'm out here cooking on this. Even Ryan, my son, said, dude, every time I cook a steak inside, it stinks up the house. I said, dude, get one of these. I cook everything outside. So if I lose power, I don't want to run my stove, I got 2 months worth of actual cooking and fuel out here. I love that thing. I love the camp stove. Maybe I'll try and find a link to that too. So the last tip I'm going to give you before we go is what happens after the storm. People don't think about that. I always say the first thing I'm gonna do, if I have a bad hurricane that's scheduled to come in or something, I always text my whole family, fill up your gas tanks, because I guarantee you there's gonna be lines at the gas station. I guarantee you it. And they don't listen half the time, and sure enough, there's a mile line for gas. But I'm checking, make sure I have gas. I'm checking my chainsaws. I'll even start one of them. I have 3 chainsaws, because if I have a 1,000-foot driveway, if I got trees across this driveway, I need to be able to get out of here. So I need to be able to cut them down. So I'll check my chainsaws. I have plenty of water. I have water bottles. It's just a little bit of preparedness. It's a little bit of thinking. Do it ahead of time. Don't run to the grocery store and say, oh my goodness, all the shelves are bare. Yeah, you dummy. That's because you don't think a little bit, plan a little bit. Anyways, hope this helped a little bit. I'm gonna go relax for a little while. Talk to you later. Doc.